Hello everyone, it's Dove here. So I'm out here with my sub Overland, and I wanted to show you that on the way home from Idaho I got hit by a rock. So I have this rock chip here, but it's really weird because it's smooth. Like, I can't feel anything. You can quite clearly see that there was a impact. And there's another little one up here, but it's not like cratered in. There's no actual hole. I bought a windshield repair kit, and it's got the suction thing and the resin, and the suction thing is supposed to draw the resin into the area, but honestly, I don't feel much of anything. Like, I don't know where the resin would even go. Right about here, where my thumbnail is, I do feel a little tiny bit right there. There goes the door. It's very windy. Hopefully you can hear me okay. But I do feel something right there. So I think they send a little push pin with the kit so that you can clean out the debris, and I might just have to go in there and, like, I don't know, try to make the hole bigger or something, because it doesn't seem like there's any place for that resin to go right now. So I don't know if I'll show the actual process or not, but I wanted to show you what it looks like right now. It may not look any different when I'm done. So there's another little tiny chip right there, but I don't think there's much I can do about these little things. But I'm worried about this one because winter's coming, and usually these cracks or these impacts, they'll start splintering and cracking, and I don't want that to happen. So I'll do whatever I can to try to fix that. But if not, and if it cracks, then I guess I'll be getting a new windshield. Alright, talk to you later. Bye. Alright guys, so I was not able to actually film the procedure, but I wanted to go ahead and show you the kit that I used. And there are a lot of these out on the market, and they're almost exactly the same, but they're all branded differently. But this one is actually different, and that's why I bought it. I'll show it to you. I can't say that name, but I'll put a link to the Amazon product page in the description box for this video. And the reason I got this one was because it actually comes with this UV light, and none of the other ones did. And so the resin cures under sunlight, so when you're actually doing the procedure, you have to be in the shade, and then when you're done, you have to pull out into the sun and let the sun cure the resin. But these people were smart, and they made basically an all-weather kit, and they sent this UV light so that when you're done with the procedure, you can just use that and not have to worry about whether the sun is shining or whatever. And this was straight when I got it, and it is bendable, so, and you have to put this down into a little hole there in this light, and that was actually kind of hard, but it did go down in there finally. And then that's a suction cup, so you suction it to your window, and then you just position it where you need to position it. And the other thing that the other brands are not including is this little O-ring, and I'll talk about that in a second. But they send you enough of the little pads and the O-rings that you could do more than one repair. So you can do 3 theoretically, but only if you have enough resin. So that would be the sticking point on that. I don't think there's actually enough resin in there to do 3 repairs, but there's definitely enough to do 1. And so, yeah, you start out picking that out, the glass, the debris, and wipe it really clean. And then this is a double-sided adhesive, so you take off the white side and you put it upwards, this tab facing upwards, and you'll put your crack right in the center, so you'd be able to see it through there. You don't really want to try to repair a crack that's too much bigger than this hole, because it might not work. And then you stick that to the windshield, and then you take off the red backing, and this little gasket, or the little O-ring, it sits just right inside the hole. It's not big enough to stick to it. It's supposed to sit just right inside the hole. And it doesn't seem like it wants to stay there. So it's a little sketchy, but you know, it works. And then you take this and you stick it to it, and you press down all around, and you have to line up the tabs just like that, and it's going to sit upwards. So on your windshield, that's the way it needs to look. It needs to be, this thing needs to be pointing upwards. So that's how you do that. And then you put, they tell you either in the video or in the instructions, I can't remember, I followed both. You put 3 little squirts of the resin in there. You have to take this cap off, which was really on there. Like, I had to take pliers. You can see the little scuff marks on it. When I first got it, I was like, oh my God, I can't get it off. So I had to pry it off with some pliers. So you squeeze it gently 3 times, and it goes down in that hole. And then you'll put your plunger on there, and it's got 2 different levels. There's little cutouts right there and right there, and you'll see in that video exactly how to do it. But you stick that on there and get it on there as good as you can, and you bring it up to the first one. And so right up here, there's this ledge. You'll bring it up. I don't think I can do it. Well, I may be able to. There's going to be vacuum in there. You're pulling the air out. You're trying to create a pressurized atmosphere, and then you turn this thing so that it won't go down like that. And then you wait like 10 or 15 minutes. And you take it off, and it will release the air, and then you put it back on there, and you pull it. You go to the second position, or maybe it's that one and then the second one. Watch that video if you're planning on doing this. Make sure you watch that video, and you leave that on there for 10 to 15 minutes. Again, this just turns so that notch is now sitting on there, and it'll keep the plunger up. Okay, and then 10-15 more minutes, and you take it off, and then they send a razor blade with it, and you get the idea. You know what a razor blade looks like. This is hard one-handed when I'm cold. And so you'll take the razor blade and just go underneath that tab, start at the tab, and then I ran it all the way around the edge. Let me see if I can keep you in frame. And then once you get that tab up and the edge is loosened, then you just slowly start pulling that up. Obviously you're already popped this thing off, and so you start pulling that up. And then what I did was I took the blade, and I was pulling with my left hand, and with my right hand I was taking the blade and just scraping that up, and it came off okay. If you were not scraping at the same time as you were pulling, you'd probably just start tearing this thing up. So I do recommend to scrape as you're pulling that off. Okay, and then what they have you doing is you have to leave a little bit of the resin in the bottle. You have to make sure you have enough left over, because once you do that, you have to take one little tiny dab of resin and put it on your crack, and then you'll take this clear film and set it over the crack, and then you'll take your blade and push the air out and make sure it's all down there good. And they tell you to tape it down if it's windy, and it was windy, so I had some scotch tape right there and then on this side. And I did the big crack, and remember that little tiny one I showed you up above it. I did that one too, and all I could do on the little tiny one was put just a dab of the resin on there and leave it. There's nothing else I could have done for that one. And then I just positioned it like that and taped it down. And then I took the UV light because it was cloudy and cold and overcast that day, so I had to use this thing. And so I can't do this one-handed, but you'll suction it to the glass and then position it right where you need to. And I had to move it obviously because I had that, and then I did that third one that was down further. I'll show you here in a minute. And so I used a second piece of film for that third little crack that I showed you. And then it says 2 to 5 minutes, but it was cold and gross that day, and I wanted to make sure I did it good. And so I left it for like 10 minutes, at least 10 minutes, maybe 15 on each spot. So it was like 30 to 45 minutes altogether that I had this UV light out. And I didn't mind, I had plenty of time. The box tells you can do the whole repair in like 30 to 45 minutes, but I wasn't rushing things. I wanted to make sure that I got it done. And then when that time's over, you take off the sheet of film and you take your knife and you just start scraping away at the windshield at this about that of an angle, and you'll start picking up that excess resin. And if you did it right, all the resin that you pushed in there will now be in your windshield, and you're not going to be scraping off too awfully much, but it comes right off. And then if there's any like residue left over, you could use some isopropyl alcohol and kind of rub it out or whatever. And that's it. I think I did a pretty decent job. I mean, I can still see it's there, but if you never knew it was there, you might not be able to see it. So let me take you out here. It wasn't perfect, but like I said, that hole was not very big that I had to work with, and I'm surprised it worked as well as it did, to be honest. You see it? There it is. So I can see that it's there. There's still a shadow. It couldn't get everywhere, but I did the best I could. And that one is smooth. It looks the same, but it's smooth now. There's no nicks. And then that's the third one. Again, I can't feel it anymore, so it did fill it in. You can still see it, but I don't care about that really. It's not in my line of vision. But yeah, not too bad of a job, I don't think. And hopefully that will prevent it from cracking and spreading and everything. Because now that winter's here, I really don't need a cracked windshield. Alright guys, talk to you later. Bye.